Welcome everybody to, what do we call this show? Marketing for the rest of us. That's what we call this show. Why? Because not all of us are wired for chasing algorithms and posting 7 times a day and doing all the things that the social platforms say that we're supposed to do to win their favor. So this is episode 3. And I want to talk about how many times people are getting sabotaged, tricked by, stymied by the marketing tools in the world, and they're not focused on the things that actually matter, right? I was just getting off an interview with a client, Arnell, shout out to Arnell, where we were talking about, I think a lot of times people try to make decisions for growing their business based on what they think is working for other people, right? This is how we get preoccupied with tools, right? Like Facebook ads or Instagram stories or Instagram TV. We get so preoccupied by the tool or the trend or the trick or whatever we think is working that we miss the point of marketing. So it's very common. Arnell had shared an example in his show on a client who had spent $2,000 over 3 months on social posts, right? They basically had, I don't know if it was Facebook or what they were spending money on, but somebody came to them and said, hey, I think we could help you out with your marketing. And they were like, oh, thank God, I really need some help in my marketing. Right? Now, I think we get to such a pain point in knowing that we need to grow our business. We're like, God, I need to grow my business. I need a breakthrough. I need something to happen. And we're not willing to, it's so uncomfortable to go through the income roller coaster of it all that we're like, I need help. And as that pain inside of us grows, as other people come into the conversation with answers and solutions, we immediately go, oh, thank God somebody's here to help save me. Somebody's here to help take this pain off of me and fix it for me. But the problem is we don't know the questions to ask. We don't know the nuances to look for. And so when somebody offers relief, we're just like, thank God somebody has relief. So we spend $2,000 over 3 months in hopes that they're going to save us. And this person, right, from that we were speaking of in this show, right, this person who spent $2,000 over 3 months got zipped. They got no results. They don't really even know what they were buying, I think. Listen, there's a time to spend $2,000 over 3 months for marketing, but if you don't understand how it fits in a bigger game, if you don't understand how that marketing, that money spent for that marketing fits in your marketing strategy, then what was the point? You were hoping something would just some low-hanging fruit would fall into your lap? And this is the where we get ourselves into, the predicament, the challenge, is that when we don't know enough about the game and the pain has built enough to where we're uncomfortable about it all, anybody selling the latest tool that sounds trendy will do. I saw this the other day where in my newsfeed on Facebook, there was somebody that had a done-for-you editorial calendar for the entire year. It was like, you don't have to think about any of your posts for the entire year because we've already put the calendar together for you. It was a Facebook ad. And this ad had great engagement. The comments in the ad were amazing. People were so thankful. They were so thrilled. And then when I went in and I looked at what they were actually offering, it was a canned editorial calendar. They basically tell you what to say, right? But the problem is, if you think that's a good strategy, then you're missing how marketing has evolved. We don't need it. I covered this yesterday in episode 2. We don't need more information. We're past the information age, right? In episode 1, I talked about the tribal economy. The information age came before the tribal economy, where information was actually valued. But guess what? Information isn't valued anymore. There's an oversupply of information. You want to talk about supply and demand? So when supply of information is high, what's the demand on information? It's low, right? What we're missing now is connection. What we're missing now is authenticity and transparency and vulnerability. So you having some pre-planned 365-day editorial calendar that is canned information where everybody that opts in for this calendar is going to be saying the same thing on, this is how it gets noisy. Do you see? This is how social media and the environment or the ecosystem of marketing starts to get really noisy because we all opt in for some editorial calendar that gives us all the same prompts or the same cues for what to say. And now we're all just broadcasting the same thing. This is not what the consumer wants. The consumer does not want regurgitated information. But you wouldn't know that based on the kind of engagement this ad was getting. You would have thought these people that were engaging with this ad thought this person saved the day. This is my point, guys. Like, if you don't understand the nuance of marketing, you're going to get fleeced by people selling you stuff because you're going to think that the thing they're selling you is going to be the answer, and it's not. You have to understand the game of marketing. Okay? But which is why I created this show, because marketing for the rest of us, which is the name of the show, marketing for the rest of us, is for those of us who don't want to have to go figure out what are all the algorithms about and how do I do SEO, and I'm supposed to do like 3 to 5 blog posts a week. And if you don't want to play the game that these apps and platforms have set up for you to play, then you have to understand humanity. You have to understand what humans want, because then you can actually give humans what humans want. And if you understand what humans want, then you can actually create a marketing strategy that would deliver that. And it's not by just spending $2,000 over 3 months on boosting a Facebook post. There's actually a way to use Facebook to create engagement and connection with humans. But you've got to see that the tool comes second to humanity. Humanity comes first, the tool comes second. And if you don't get that, then you're going to start spending money on tools that don't have a return. Or you'll spend money on tools and you don't know what it was for. Like, why did I spend money on that? I don't know. The person said it was going to work. It didn't work. So now what? When somebody comes to you from, look, if somebody came to you today from like the Yellow Pages, I actually saw one of those the other day, by the way. I was like, hey kids, look, my son is 14, my daughter's 12. I'm like, hey kids, this is a phone book. Do you see this? And by the way, it was like this thick compared to like how they used to be, right? Somebody can come to you and be like, hey, I've got a Yellow Pages ad. Do you want to run a Yellow Pages ad? But if you don't understand, if you're just so consumed by the pain of not knowing how you're going to get to where you want to go, that anybody's tool looks good. The Yellow Pages example is a little bit extreme, but it proves my point really well. I've seen people recently be approached by radio shows, by TV stations, and they think they're like, I don't know, this seems like a good deal. Is this a good deal? Is this not a good deal? Well, what's your strategy? How are you going to build connection? What goes beyond, like, once you run an ad on TV, what is it for? Where are you going to point people to? So this is my point, gang. Like, marketing for the rest of us has to be anchored in, rooted in connection and transparency and vulnerability with humanity, because from that place, we'll actually understand how to use marketing. When you understand how to use marketing, it's like somebody who plays the guitar, who has mastery of the guitar. In college, I taught myself guitar because I thought that would be cool and I could, impress some people. But all I could learn really were D, C, and G, and a couple other chords, and then I was stuck. I had nowhere to go, right? And in some ways, the tool, the guitar, controlled me. I didn't control it, right? Like, I could play a certain point and then I hit a lid, and I wasn't willing to break through that. Well, in marketing, it's the same thing, right? Like, if you don't, if you play just enough in it to where you don't understand it, then marketing controls you, and you are bound by the rules and the algorithms and the rules that other people say you have to play by. But when you understand the theory, right, like music theory, when you understand music theory and you've practiced scales and you know how to do that, you can actually make the tool do what you want it to do rather than being confined by it. And it's the same thing in marketing. When you understand the theory around humanity and what creates connection and what marketing is actually for, then you can actually use the tool to produce the result rather than being confined by the tool, right? So this is marketing, gang, for the rest of us. For the rest of us who don't want to play by the rules that everybody else has set out for us to play, we have to get really in tune with humanity, what creates connection, and then when somebody offers you a solution, you need to listen for, how does this actually give me the result I'm trying to create in the world, which is a connection with another human? How does this create connection? And if the tool can do that, then great. But at least now you know what you're looking for when people come to sell you stuff. instead of just trying to offload all the discomfort of not knowing what to do. Somebody else came in with more certainty than you had about what to do. And so you caved to their frame because you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. It sounds like you know what you're doing. Here's $2,000. Please fix this for me. And then when it doesn't fix it, you're out of luck. And that's actually that mistake compounds on itself. Because if you've ever gone in debt by taking a risk, I have one more thing I want to tell you. If you ever go in debt on taking a risk and it didn't pan out, now you're gun shy, right? And you're on the defensive. You're playing defense from now forward because it's very hard to trust yourself on the next big risk or the next big decision, right? Because you have evidence in your life that you've tried that before and it didn't work. Which brings me, this is the other thing I want to tell you. Years ago, I read a book called The Millionaire Real Estate Investor. The Millionaire Real Estate Investor. And in that book, the author talks about how most people, first of all, how real estate investing is not risky. However, real estate speculation or real estate speculating is very risky. And most people are real estate speculators, not real estate investors, because they don't have a plan, they don't have a team, and they're not educated about how the game works, right? And so real estate speculation becomes very expensive and very risky. I would say the same thing is true for marketing. Most people are marketing speculators. They're speculating on Facebook boosted posts. They're speculating on Instagram TV. And what are you speculating with? Your time and your money. You're like, here's a bunch of money, fix it for me. Or I better go learn Instagram TV, not knowing why, but everybody says it's trendy, so I guess I'm going to do it. And then you go spend money or time trying to figure out all these platforms. And so your marketing speculation is costing you a ton in time, in resources, time, money. Let's throw energy in there. Those are my three favorite: time, money, and energy. Listen, after you've spent tons of time to learn a platform and then the platform changes, like Facebook, thank you, Facebook. Like, that's exhausting. You're like, great, now I got to figure this out again, right? How do you get around that? How do you get around marketing speculation so that it's not risky? Well, you need a plan, you need a team, and you need strategy. You need to understand how it works. And when you understand how it works, you can create a better plan and hire a better team to help you make good decisions to break through. But you got to understand the game of marketing. That's what this whole show is about, right? You can come back through over time and just keep revisiting these episodes where it's like, I will just keep beating to death what marketing's about. What is it about? Marketing is about relationship. It is about connection. It is not about selling. It's not about making money. Marketing makes the sale happen. It makes the sale easier. But marketing is not about selling. Marketing is about connection and trust, especially in this day and age. People will voyeur your content over and over again until they feel like you have their number. They're like, dude, you get me. You understand me. I've got to work with you. But that might be 20 videos in. That might be a year's worth of content in. But if you understand that, then now you know what Facebook ads are for, right? You don't run a Facebook ad and hope that you get a client off that one Facebook ad. That's not what we're doing. You don't post to Instagram and hope that somebody reaches out to you and says, hey, well, can I work with you? That's not what we're doing. When you understand that marketing is about connection and relationship, at least marketing for the rest of us is about connection and relationship, now you can use the tools appropriately. And when somebody comes offering you some type of help or relief through their product, tool, or service, now you can better evaluate whether that tool is going to get you to the goal of relationship and connection, because that is what we're doing now. Unless you want to play the game of what the algorithms want, what SEO wants, what search engines want, right? Okay, gang, that's it for episode 3, marketing for the rest of us. If you have comments, if you're watching the replay, come back through, interact with me. I love interacting with you guys in the comments. Until next time, see ya.